You may be only one or two good bulks away from achieving your dream body. And because a good, effective bulk takes so long, then you won't want to waste any time by getting it wrong. For me, going from a skinny guy at 130 pounds to where I sit now at about 185 pounds took way longer than it should have. I'm going to share with you the three most important aspects of a good bulk that makes it actually effective. Number one, a small calorie surplus. Now, it's reasonable to assume that if you were to eat more, that you would grow faster. And honestly, you would. Now, the issue lies on the backside of the bulk. If you were to eat as much as you could, you definitely would grow faster. The problem is you would also have a lot more fat mass that you would have to lose in order to show your physique. And I'm assuming that if you're watching my videos, you don't just want to be muscular, you also want to look muscular. And that means having a relatively low body fat percentage. Imagine it like this. You work on a construction crew that is building brick houses. If I were to give you the exact amount of bricks that you needed, you could complete that job and then you would move on to the next job. But what if I were to give you way more bricks than you needed? Sure, you could probably complete that job a little bit faster because you could take those extra bricks and lay them closer to the work site so that you could be a little bit more efficient. But when you get to the end of your project, you would have a ton of bricks that you need to clean up from the construction site so that the project is actually done and looks good for the customer that you're building it for. And that's exactly how it works. At the end of a bulk that you put on a little bit of additional fat, you probably have to lose some of that fat in order to really show the progress that you've made. And anytime that we lose weight, it is impossible to lose 100% fat. Some of what you lose is going to be lean mass, and some of that lean mass is muscle. Over my years and years of bulking and working with tons of clients on their bulks, I found that you actually get a way better product if you do a slower bulk and end up cutting less after. So remember, the old idea of dirty bulking, meaning just eating whatever you want, gaining as much fat as long as you put on a lot of muscle, it's not the best way to do it. Do a slow, steady bulk, track your calories, track your metrics so that you know you're actually gaining muscle mass in that process. Understand you will gain some fat no matter what, but if you do it well, you won't have to cut that much to show the progress that you've made. Number two, great sleep. It's not enough to settle for okay or good sleep. You need great if you want to have a great physique. So I used to work at this place and they used to have the cleaners come during the day, but then they eventually switched to having the cleaners come at night. And this is exactly what good sleep is like. You see, when you have the cleaners come during the day, there's a lot of people and patrons in the area that they're trying to clean, which makes it really hard and inefficient for them to clean that space. But when they started coming to clean overnight, then they could do it a lot more efficiently. Nobody was in their way. They could get it done. Nobody was making a concurrent mess at the same time. Good sleep at night kind of cleans up your muscles. It takes all of that damaged tissue that was there and rebuilds it. And doesn't just rebuild it, but if you give it the right stimulus, builds it to be even bigger or stronger, meaning more muscle. And it just can't do the same quality of job if you don't give it that time and quality of sleep at night in order for it to be most effective in building that muscle in a better way. So ensure that you get 7 to 9 hours of high quality sleep every single night. Yes, including the weekends. There's a lot of things that go into this, and we're not gonna dive into anything, but I'm gonna name a bunch of things, and if you suck at one of these, then you probably want to go watch my other videos about sleep so that you can dial these aspects in. Things that really move the needle are things like a good sleep hygiene. And that essentially just means a good bedtime routine where you're not using blue light too late at night. You're doing some relaxation techniques. Maybe you're sort of dimming the lights as you approach bedtime. This could include using something like blue light blockers to minimize the amount of stimulating light that your eyes are receiving. This definitely means eating at the right time so that you're not eating too close to your bedtime, including eating the wrong things leading up to bedtime that may interfere with your sleep. And one thing that really plagues us these days is playing really stressful video games like battle royale styles that are high stakes late at night. That's just gonna get your blood pumping and not put you in a good state to be relaxed to fall asleep. And if you want bonus points, then focusing on nasal breathing or just mouth taping can help your sleep a ton. Number 3, a periodized training plan. Imagine you had your car GPS on, But instead of just following the directions it was giving you, every 5 minutes you turned it off, set your location again, and you know how it gives you like 3 options, usually the fastest route, the shortest route, and maybe like the fewest turns. Every 5 minutes, you selected a different one. At first, maybe it would take you 30 minutes to get to where you're going. But after you change that path every 5 minutes, well, now it starts to take you 35 minutes, 40 minutes. And before you know it, it's taking you an hour to get somewhere where it should have taken you half that time. This is the equivalent of jumping around on a million different plans instead of finding one plan that is periodized correctly, meaning it has structure to it that allows you to progress over time, but also takes into account the fact that you can't just do more and more and more volume and weight forever before your body burns out. And for those who have probably heard this before but are still skeptical, let me put it like this. 3 sets of 10 for every movement you do every day for the rest of your life probably isn't going to get you where you want to be. And now, I don't mean that in a condescending way, because that was me for like 3 years. So find a structured program that incorporates progressive overload, which is just the concept that you need to add some weight or some volume, meaning some sets, reps, over time so that you can continuously create a stimulus that your body needs to adapt to, and also includes proper deload weeks so that you don't just get to this place where you try to do more and more and end up getting injured or really losing motivation because you can't really make progress forever. And honestly, the program that you do matters less than just finding a program that you like and again has those concepts that you can just stick to through the whole thing. And maybe that's doing one cycle of it, but maybe like me, I really like a program called 5-3-1, and I've done it for about 6 cycles in a row in order to improve my strength. And that might be what you need to do. Find a program, stick with it, and maybe repeat it a couple times as well. And one thing that I think helps a ton that I never did when I was younger was training strength leading up to a bulking phase. If you want to put on muscle, it's really helpful to go into a hypertrophy or muscle building phase with a lot more strength than you've had in the past. So spending maybe 1 to 3 or maybe even 4 or 5 months training strength before shifting gears could be a really, really good strategy to set you up for a ton of success. What we discussed in this video was about 80% of what you need, but at the end of the day, you need a little bit more specifics to dial in these specific components, like the amount of macronutrients you're consuming, how you time your nutrients throughout the day, before your workout, after your workout. So check out this video from the Build Muscle playlist and make sure you go through the whole playlist, because I'm giving away everything that I have that I've used with thousands of clients who have been successful in building muscle, and it's all right here on YouTube. I'll see you over there.